Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching the Nile Cruise. And now we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, which is El Mu'izz Street in the heart of Cairo. And we'll be hosting Mr. Zyad Ali. He's a tourism expert to tell us more about the Mu'izz Street in Cairo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us on Nile TV.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Tell me more about El Mu'izz Street, Mr. Zyad.
Mu'izz Street is a very interesting location. It's not only a street, it's a historical timeline.
Yeah.
29 monuments between mosques, madrasas or schools, ancient minarets, spanning from the Fatimid history era to the Ottoman era. So it is really an open street museum, not only a street.
Yeah. Tell me more about the efforts made by the government to make it an open-air museum.
It was a very ambitious project. First of all, it was identified by the UNESCO as a World Heritage Site by 1979. At 1991, if I remember right, it was a great project undertaken by the Egyptian government to I would like to use the word rehabilitate the whole street, not only by preserving the monuments and making some advancements, but also educating people that this is a very important spot. We have people living in the Mu'izz Street, people with their shops still in Mu'izz Street.
Houses.
So exactly, it is about not only identifying it as a monumental street or an open museum, as we love to use the word, but also as a livable space where you mix the new and the old together in the same time.
And why it was named El Mu'izz Street?
Al Mu'izz, after Al Mu'izz Lidin Allah Al Fatimi, one of the Fatimid great icons. But again, it's not only a Fatimid era monument, because
it's before.
Starting when you start to have monuments like Al Aqmar Mosque, absolutely Fatimid era, and then Ibn Tulun Mosque, which is a Mamluk with the Mamluk glamour of building and the new styles, and then heading into Ottomani monuments as well. It's a great place that we personally, not only as travel professionals, but also our clients, they do appreciate very much a walking tour in Mu'izz Street.
Yes, Mr. Zyad, tell me more about the Islamic art in El Mu'izz Street and also the architecture across different dynasties.
It's very hard to answer this question in a short way, but I'll try my best. Let's say the main concepts are where you find in a walking distance the Fatimid art, which is quite affected by effects from North Africa, Morocco and Andalusia. You find the Mamluki art, which a good part of it is affected by the medieval Gothic style, as well as the Islamic prints, what's called the Arais, or the prints by the walls, the difference between glazed and unglazed pottery used by the different dynasties, heading to the Ottomani, having the effect. It all shows that you can find, for an example, which is the easiest thing, you don't have to be an expert in architecture, the minarets of the mosques. How different they are between the Fatimid era, the Mamluki era, and the Ottomani era. It's a great thing if you're a scholar, if you are an architect student, if you are interested in art, abstract art. It's a great place to visit, because you can easily monitor 1,000 years in the making. And the differences between different styles.
And what are the threats for the Mu'izz Street now, facing the Mu'izz Street?
Let's say
environmental or
Mu'izz is a very dynamic place. It's a living place. This is not a monument like the pyramids, where you close by 4:30 in the afternoon and then it's kept in the safe guard of our police. It's a 24/7 people living there. The kind of they call the tourist pressure. How many people we have walking in the street and using its facilities, how many restaurants we have to have over there, how many hotels we need to add to Mu'izz Street, the shops itself.
Are there hotels there?
Yes, I will not be using names, but there are some nice boutique hotels, smaller ones, and boutique restaurants, and it is increasing. Absolutely, it's a magnificent spot. And with the advancement happening in downtown Cairo as well, now downtown Cairo is facing a very ambitious project to add, I would say, about 15 new boutique hotels, smaller hotels in some of the historical buildings. And if you add that actually it is a walking area. If you link it to the Gamaleya area, Suq al-Silah area, Al-Darb al-Ahmar area, you can have some magnificent, which is taking place now, the plans are taking place, magnificent walking tours from downtown Cairo to Mu'izz Street.
How it's viewed in the global heritage map, the Mu'izz Street?
People do not imagine, when I mean people, I mean tourists.
Yeah.
Usually you offer them Islamic Cairo tour. To them, usually when you go to their countries, you say like you're going to a medieval site. What they expect, some big castle, very old, or very old in their terms, like you say it's a 600 years old castle. So it's a wow, and you see how the walls are done and the bricks. They don't imagine how glamorous it is. Once they step foot in Mu'izz Street, even if they are not going inside the mosques, when they walk in the street and they interact with the locals, and they are being told by one of our clever tour guides the rich history of the place. This is Ottomani, this is Mamluki, this is Fatimid, this incident in history took place over here, this crime happened in here, this king was killed in here, or this king was being called a monarch and coronated in this spot, and such. You usually see their faces when they end the Mu'izz tour, usually in Khan al-Khalili for dinner or so, or some shopping at the bazaar. You have this big wow on their faces. They are impressed by it.
Yes, sure. Mr. Zyad, how can modern tools like the mobile applications and digital storytelling enhance the visitor's experience on the Mu'izz Street?
If I can use this great platform of yours, actually even to direct this speech to the government, to the Egyptian government, and the responsible people in the Ministry of Tourism, augmented reality now is very big in the world. Storytelling now can be considered the core and shell of the tourism industry. Long time ago, it was about having a good tour guide. I take you to the monument, I tell you the story. Now, I hate to use the word trend because it's usually used in the wrong way. But let's use it in the right aspect, that the trend in the world now, people want to hear a different story. By using augmented reality, be it VR tools, by enactments, and I've seen this all around the world, and I think it is about the time that we do it over here. Imagine people dressed in Mamluki or Ottomani or Fatimid era clothes, telling the story as part of a role play or a theatrical play in the street, where they interact with the tourists as well as the locals. So these enhancements are now big and trendy, and I think we have to take part in it.
Okay, and Mr. Zyad, as you are a tourism expert, what are the must-see parts in Mu'izz Street?
I be very hard to say that actually, because the whole street is an open museum. Again, Al-Aqmar Mosque, the madrasas, the Sabils, the Ibn Tulun Mosque, and not only Al-Mu'izz, which is very fair to say. The whole area of Al-Gamaleya, starting from Al-Azhar Park, having this great tour from Al-Azhar to Gamaleya to Al-Darb al-Ahmar, continuing to Beit al-Razzaz, one of the hidden gems in the area as well, up to the old gates of Cairo, and then walking until Khan al-Khalili. Very hard to say one spot. The whole street is an open museum, really.
Okay, and how can we keep these monuments?
The culture is a very important thing. There is the professional restoration projects, which is better be discussed by professionals, of course. They know their job and they're doing it great since the project started in 1991. But the thing where there is a great space for improvement, in my opinion, is the cultural awareness. How to involve the residents of Al-Mu'izz Street.
Yes, I'm just asking you about this.
One
Can
generation.
Locals involve in...
Absolutely, they have to be. One generation after the other. They need to understand the culture of the tourist. They come from a different culture. They need to understand the needs of the tourist. And as we do on the other hand, that we make sure that our tourists understands, respects, and appreciates the local culture. By this, it would be an easy offer and demand equation. I know what my client wants. I'll give it to them in a proper way, with a good price, fair price. We don't give them hard time, so they don't give us hard time. We're now partners in preserving the whole place. I do not go and knock a wall in my building because it is my apartment, I'm free to do whatever. No, I understand that this is a part of something much bigger, keeping it is keeping my livelihood, my bread and butter, my daily bread and butter on the table.
Yes.
So this kind of cultural awareness is very important.
Yes, of course. And what are the age category for the visitors of Mu'izz Street?
It really varies now, because it's not a very hard walk. It's a nice pedestrian area most of the time.
Yeah.
It varies between mid-20s up to senior travelers who really enjoyed or want to indulge in the authentic culture.
Yeah.
Maybe having the whole tour can be a little bit harder for some older ladies and gents, but then again, with more restaurants and coffee shops, you can really divide it, that they can walk for 10-15 minutes, have a break, being told a different story while they have tea or coffee or one of the Egyptian sweet famous delicatessens, and then they keep on walking again. But all age groups really are quite interested in this spot.
Can you tell us more about the intangible cultural heritage in places like El Mu'izz, including the traditional crafts and the oral histories and local rituals?
I mean, if they are lucky coming before Ramadan, maybe 15 days before or 15 days after, or at the time of any Islamic calendar vacations or feasts, it's a living, hustling and bustling spot of Cairo, where you can mix, or people can get to enjoy really the original handcrafts, copper, fawanis or lanterns, wood craft, iron, old iron craft. Even some spots now are interested in reviving the Khayamiya art or the tapestry art in El Mu'izz Street.
And are tourists involved in this artifact?
Well, now the challenge is finding the craftsmen, because some of the crafts are really declining. The old generation is not substituted by a younger generation interested. But definitely when there is a chance for people to join, maybe try to knock on some copper or use a needle and a thread in a tapestry weaving or something, yes, of course they are interested. But I do believe it's a very good point you've opened, that we need to enhance this much more.
Yes.
Even if that includes creating schools for the crafts, where we can attract younger generations to learn these fine arts, because they are really, there is a great demand for them. So we'll be
expecting from all over the world students for this school.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you don't have, we're not reinventing the wheel, like they say, because when you go to the Tunis village in Fayoum, for example, how many foreigners or tourists are interested in pottery? A lot of them. Workshops, art workshops. Now, when you go online and see, you want to search for tours, for example, in Cairo. Art tour is one of the new concepts or trends, very highly appreciated now. And I thought at an earlier stage that it's about visiting the museums, art museums or art collections. No, it's about contributing, it's about sharing, working with your own hands. They go for workshops, for painting, for tapestry, for pottery, for jewelry. Now, with some very famous jewelry designers, Egyptians, no names will be mentioned, of course, but now they have their own schools, and they make courses, and they are not easy courses for the art of design of jewelry. So this concept is very important, and I think by the government support, it might be a very good idea, will create new generations,
Okay, Mr. Zyad Ali, tourism expert, thank you very much for joining us today on Nile TV.
The pleasure is all mine, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, short break and we will be back.